I still remember the first day all of us had gone out. He started telling me stories about Arav and Nikhil and all funny stories and how these guys are. It's very like join the team, come be a part of us. Don't worry. If I say, sir, na kai ipdi podu poren sir. You do. Why are you telling me all those things? It's okay. Especially he's very caring as a person. And when he knows there are women around, he's even more caring. Being Ajit sir's fans, I'm sure they'll all also think like Ajit sir.
Very truly, very truly.
Love all women and respect women. I told him, sir, you got a very cute racing team.
Oh yes.
The team does look very cute. Of course, now I'm race live up on YouTube, the YouTube live comments were on. It was non-stop. It's an international race. Like, although he keeps saying, like, please don't do these things. Like, live your life. And it's so lovely to see. It's honestly very touching. It also shows you how much people love this
him.
Man.
Vidamuyarchi.
Ajit sir, the same thing, like seeing him being so committed and pushing his boundaries, and he always says, if not now, then when. I'm so blessed that I've been through so much in terms of putting my body through so much. It's unbelievable that I'm alive. Avangale solvanga adu. Trisha and I are friends from before, but I'm a little naughty on set in the sense. When you see me itself, I'm like, she must be up to something, but I won't be up to anything, I promise. The coffee's coming and she jumped like this. And Bhagal sir standing next to her like this, and he looked at her and he looked at me and he's like, she's the most graceful actress I know. How are you making her do this? I'm like, I didn't do anything. Not me.
Negative role பண்ணிருக்கீங்க ன்னு தெரியுது. எவ்வளவு எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் போயிருக்கீங்க. What was your thought?
படம் பாருங்களேன். ஏன் இப்படி கேக்குறீங்க? ஏன் ஃபேன்ஸை கொஞ்சம் ஆக்ரிவேட் பண்றீங்க? இப்போதான் எல்லாம் ஃபேன்ஸ் என்ன ரொம்ப பாராட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்க. They love me ன்னு கேட்டிருக்கேன். அப்படியே இருக்கலாமே. I think the title is so apt for a film. Not because of just the story of the film, but because of the behind the scenes story of the film as well. So இது எவ்வளோ பெரிய உலகம், இதுக்குள்ளே என்ன நடக்குது எதுவுமே தெரியல. It was literally like a noob, like a child மாதிரி வந்தேன். நான் இந்த மாதிரி படங்கள் பண்ணணும், நான் இந்த மாதிரி ஆக்ட்ரஸ் ஆகணும், நான் டாப் ஹீரோ நம்பர் 1 தான் ஆகணும். I never really had that because நான் சைக்காலஜி படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன் and I thought நான் ஒரு சைக்காலஜிஸ்ட் ஆக போகிறேன்னு. ஒரு பாயிண்டில் 2015 let's cut it. Like this was not who I was. ஏதாவது தப்பு நடக்குதுன்னா and it's putting me in a bad space, I will cut away from it.
Right.
Hello everybody, Vanakkam. We have the most beautiful, talented, versatile actress with us, Regina. So let's start. Regina, you're looking fabulous, you're looking beautiful.
Thank you so much, Ishwari.
I've been noticing you for the last few days. Your dressing sense is really good, and I know you have a separate fan follow for that.
Really?
Yes, you do. So any tips for people on how you dress so well?
Get a stylist, please. I'm kidding. No, but I like dressing up. I've always loved dressing up when I was a kid. In fact, now not so much because I do it as part of work itself. But when I was younger, I would have trays and trays of earrings, different earrings and hoops and small ones, big ones, chains, all of that, accessories and everything. And I was the only kid. I was the only kid at home. So my mom would sometimes find me in front of the mirror, standing and making faces, doing something, dancing. I was always, I entertained myself. I mean, being the only child, I guess you have no other option. Either that or you make a ton of friends and you become a people pleaser in life. But anyway, we'll get to that later. But I loved, like dressing up, and I would in fact, my mom loved dressing me up. She was so happy she had a girl child. In fact, for all the parties that I would go for, the birthday parties and stuff, I would wear the cutest frock. And my mom prided herself in, keeping all the nice socks for me and ribbons for me and stuff like that. I would have these socks with frills on them and then matching. It'll be matching my dress. The sock will be matching my dress. The frill will be in white or a light pink, some pastel. And then ribbons in the hair and, like I was the cutest girl child, dressed up and all of that. And, but as I grew older, I don't know when the tomboy side of me kicked in, and it just was like, nah, I just want shorts and a t-shirt. Like, just give me shorts and a t-shirt because I want to be climbing walls and trees and jumping around. And then I was playing with the boys most of the time. I'd be falling, getting hurt. And then I have a number of scars on my legs. But I think it was always in me to like dressing up and like looking good. Because it's the first impression that anyone ever gets of you, right? You could be the worst person in the room, but you could be the best dressed, So, I mean, not saying that I'm the worst person in the room, but I'm just saying, right? So, it always does add. It's never bad to look good, right?
So, Anna, எப்படி choose பண்றீங்க? This will look good. Like one tip.
I have a stylist a couple of stylists that I work with, and it becomes easier because they source outfits, especially for like interviews or promotions or events or anything that I'm doing. They source outfits and then I get to pick. So they make the job easier. So I'm just like, picking whatever I would like to wear. And when it comes to for an event or especially for a film, if I'm promoting a film, then we sit and look at what is the look we want to go for throughout. Do we want to maintain, something? So you see, subtle things that no one really needs to know, but it's just for us, the team, to like figure out.
So that's why you're in more of browns and beige and things like that for the last few days, right?
You
noticed.
Yeah, sort of monochromes and sort of darkish, those kind of colors, because you can see it all around, right? Yeah.
Very nice. So you played Mrinalini Sarabhai, very critically acclaimed role for you. பயங்கரமா இருந்தது on screen la, you should accept my compliments for it.
Thank you.
What sort of homework did you do for that role?
A lot. Like, so the kind of person that I am also, the moment I know I've gotten a role and a character to whose shoes I need to fill in, I start doing my homework from day one. Like, either it could start from reading articles on the internet to watching YouTube videos. And the moment Mrinalini Sarabhai came in, I told my team to tell the production that I need a Bharatanatyam teacher. And we were in the middle of pandemic.
Right.
Even though they found someone in Chennai for me, I still did it online. So I did Zoom Bharatanatyam classes, and my neighbors didn't really like it then because I was going tha, thai, and properly, right? Because it's Bharatanatyam, so you have to really hit. But it started from that. It started from, and I read her book. I had the opportunity to go to Darpana, which is her dance school in Ahmedabad. Every little nuance of hers that I could catch on to, like the amount of research I did online was crazy. And I obviously spoke to my director and I said, because they were doing research as well. So whatever you could get, please let me know, if this is something that I can, you think that will help me get into character, just send it to me. And fortunately, Mallika Sarabhai and Revant Sarabhai, her daughter and her grandson, they were also a major part of our shoot.
Oh, wow.
So the family was majorly involved in the whole process of bringing out Rocket Boys. And that for me was just like incredible because if you've seen the show, there's a entire performance called the Blue Lotus that I do. And there's a male artist who also does it with me, and the male artist is Revant Sarabhai.
Okay.
So just the fact that it all came together so well, and she was a woman of class. She was a pioneer in her field. She brought the worlds of science and art together. And back then, all these people were such forces to reckon with because of how also India was, pre-independence, all those movements that were happening, everyone was so politically inclined.
Right.
Like if there was no like choice, it was a part of your life, and such strong human beings. When I walked into Darpana for my lessons, I did my lessons over there like a couple of days, and someone was doing their arangetram. One of the students was doing her arangetram on one of the days that I was there, and they have a nice amphitheater over there. It's beautiful, the place. And I went there and I sat down because I wanted to imbibe the whole thing. It had nothing to do with me playing Mrinalini Sarabhai, but I love the arts and I love watching dance. And I learned Bharatanatyam as a kid. So it was there in muscle memory. And when I sat there and I saw the performance, and then when I was just there at Darpana, I had tears in my eyes. I'm an emotional person, but I don't get moved by things very easily. It takes a lot to move me, but I actually had tears in my eyes, and I could feel her presence. It might not sound like anything to anybody, but to me it meant a lot. It meant so much. And every time I played her character, did a scene where I felt like, what, I need to like bring her in, I would close my eyes and say a silent prayer and just visualize her in my head. And I feel like it's through her that it came out. It might sound like a lot, and it might sound like, oh my God, you did so much for that role, but or is that even necessary? But just to, again, it's all about cutting out the noise and, and centering yourself and this thing, because a lot of people who saw the show and who've seen my Telugu work or my Tamil work or whatever, was so surprised with the way I was acting. And for me, that didn't seem like a surprise, because I was doing a job, right? I was trying to like make sure I get this character in place. But that was one unanimous feedback that I got from everyone, saying like, we can't believe that you were so poised and present, and you played that role, and the role goes from like through their lifetime.
Right.
And she outlives Vikram Sarabhai. So from being a young person to an old person, not overdoing it, making sure, because there are so many people, the moment people in Chennai knew I was playing Mrinalini Sarabhai, people would come to me and tell me, oh, our house is actually in Harrington Road, down the road. They used to live there, and they would share stories with me. All of those things, they give me goosebumps. All of those things really make you feel like, you've done good. You've done justice.
It gives you a sense of fulfillment.
It does. Yeah.
Lovely. So now the magnum opus Vidamuyarchi. So share your experience being a part of Vidamuyarchi and the role that you play in.
So when I first was called to the office, Magasar's office, I was actually called for a different role, and I went there. I sat, I listened, and I think then they said, okay, we'll get back to you and everything. And I think about a week later, I wasn't even in Chennai, and my team called me and said, they're calling you back to the office again for a narration. And I was like, but I'm not even here. Does this mean that this is not going to work now anymore? So then they figured it out, and we did a Zoom Zoom narration, and he narrated this particular character to me, and I was excited. That was my first this thing, because it's when any role is narrated to me and I really like it, there's a certain sense of bubbling excitement of, okay, now how do I do this? Okay, I have to do that. Okay, how do I get into character? Okay, and they're not like consciously thinking. I'm not consciously thinking of these questions. It just happens. And from there to even making sure I land up in Baku for shoot was a journey for me, because I was shooting another Hindi film and dates were clashing, and I didn't want to let go of this film.
Right.
So I had to also step in and do a lot and make sure that I tell the other production that I will give you another date, because that was also with a superstar from Bollywood. So,
right.
It was a lot of work, and it finally worked out. In fact, people around me at that time could tell that, that I was in the middle of, oh my God, no, I want to do this and that, I can't. So it was exciting, it was interesting, and then finally I got to go there and do it. And just how everything came together. Ajit sir was a pleasant surprise. I mean, not to everyone. I mean, you all know him for so long, but I don't really read too much about actors or actresses. Yeah, now maybe with Instagram, there's so much in your face. With social media, it's all in your face. But I'm not someone who goes and searches for any particular incident or anything like that. So when I did meet Ajit sir and Trisha at the airport, he was so nice enough to start conversation, because he's so aware of the fact that he knows how people around him can be, and just the fact that he breaks the ice.
Right.
I think it's nice for someone to make people around them feel comfortable.
Very
It started off with that, and then we when we were shooting in Baku, how he would just I still remember the first day all of us had gone out. Ajit sir and Arjun sir, Arav, Nikhil and myself, we'd all gone out for dinner, and he started telling me stories about Arav and Nikhil, and all funny stories and how these guys are, and so he was very like, join the team, come be a part of us, not like, oh, I'm so and so and I need to maintain my boundaries, because it's difficult to maintain. You have to maintain. I mean, being a public figure at the end of the day, big, small, whatever, there's a certain level of boundary you need to maintain, because anyone can overstep their mark,
True.
And I'm sure he's seen so much of people overstepping their mark, but still he now knows who to pick, or how to where he needs to draw the line, and the fact that he was so welcoming and so nice, it makes everyone else around him also follow suit.
Yeah, true.
Right? Because everyone's watching what he's doing, and the moment he does something, then everyone's like, oh, okay, then we are also allowed to do this sort of a thing. And I think that's very mature of a person. It's very gentlemanly.
True.
And coming to having shot in Baku through the weather, and I think the title is so apt for our film. Not because of just the story of the film, but because of the behind the scenes story of the film as well. So I'm just really happy. I think I'm blessed to be a part of this, and I don't say this nonchalantly. Like, I say it with all the gratitude in the world.
Truly.
Trailer பார்த்தோம், looks like you're playing a negative role இல்லையா? So பயங்கரமான ஒரு டயலாக் வேற, இந்த மாதிரி பொண்ணெல்லாம் வாழவே கூடாது. இந்த மாதிரி பொண்ணு மேம் அது.
இந்த மாதிரி பொம்பளைங்க வாழவே கூடாது. நீங்க பாருங்களேன், படம் பாருங்களேன்.
So we have to wait till the 6th.
Of course. Why do you want to spoil it for yourself? Generally, like, if someone is discussing some movie, the first thing any of us who have not seen it say, spoilers எல்லாம் சொல்லாதீங்க, I want to go watch it. ஆனாலும் இங்க வந்து இந்த மாதிரி question கேப்பீங்களா நீங்க?
கொஞ்சமா ஏதாவது ஒரு
கொஞ்சமா எதுவுமே இல்ல, போங்க.
We are very inquisitive after the trailer.
Yes.
So அதனால we just
I think அந்த inquisitivity எடுத்துட்டு Feb 16, anyway Feb 16 எல்லாரும் பார்க்க போறீங்க.
Definitely.
இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாள் தானே இருக்கு.
Okay. Feb 6th இப்போ நீங்க சென்னையில first day first show பாப்பீங்களா? எங்களோட
ஆமா, அத பிளான். ஆமா, 100%.
எங்களோட.
உங்களுக்கு ஓகேயா நான் வந்தா?
Oh, please வாங்க.
Okay, done.
Lovely. That's made our day, and 6th is going to be fantastic.
Done.
Okay, now getting back to Vidamuyarchi, I mean, what exactly convinced you to take up this project? It's because or magnum opus project, big leagues, something else convinced you other than the factors that I just mentioned?
It's also a character role இல்லையா? It's going to be having a negative shade. How did you decide?
இந்த படம் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் there was no one single thing. I can't point it out. ஏன்னா எல்லாமே came together. Muggles, in fact, I've met Muggles sir before with regard to another film. அவங்க previous filmக்காக நான் மீட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் அவங்கள.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. அதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுட்டு he still keeps that in mind and talks about it, and he said finally we get to work together. So அங்க இருந்து to AK sir's film, to the character, the role that he wanted me to play, everything.
Right.
Like, இதனால தான் நான் இந்த படம் பண்றேன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. Like I said, that's why I feel blessed, that I'm able to do this. And 20 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்புறம், like after I started off back as a 14-year-old child, um, I had no dreams. நான் இந்த மாதிரி படங்கள் பண்ணணும், நான் இந்த மாதிரி ஆக்ட்ரஸ் ஆகணும், நான் டாப் ஹீரோ நம்பர் 1 தான் ஆகணும். I never really had that because நான் சைக்காலஜி படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன் and I thought நான் ஒரு சைக்காலஜிஸ்ட் ஆக போகிறேன்னு. But also I had opportunities and options and everything that, you know, in college that came to me that doesn't really go to too many people. And I had அந்த awareness இருந்துச்சு எனக்கு அப்போவே, you know, இந்த மாதிரி opportunity, yeah, you don't really get it every day.
Right.
I wouldn't really get it every day. So try பண்ணல. It was not even like இந்த opportunity miss பண்ணா இது வராதுன்னு அந்த feeling இல்ல. Just the fact that okay, இந்த மாதிரி opportunity வருது, it sounds exciting, பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம். So that's how it started, and to be here today to sit and have this conversation with you is a journey that I've lived. So it's really nice the fact that I'm able to be a part of films like this 20 years later.
Right.
இப்போ ஜென்ரலாக அஜித் சரோட படத்தில் வந்து வில்லன் கேரக்டர்லாம் அஜித் சரோட இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணும்போதோ இல்லை சண்டை ஃபைட் சீன்ஸ்லாம் பண்ணும்போதோ பயங்கரமான ஒரு ரியாக்ஷன் இருக்கும் அஜித் சார் ஃபேன்ஸ் கிட்ட இருந்து. எஸ்பெஷலி நெகட்டிவ் ரோல் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்கன்னு தெரியுது, எவ்வளோ எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் போயிருக்கீங்க. வாட் வாஸ் யுவர் தாட்?
படம் பாருங்களேன், ஏன் இப்படி கேட்குறீங்க? ஏன் ஃபேன்ஸை கொஞ்சம் ஆக்ரிவேட் பண்ணுறீங்க? இப்போதான் எல்லாம் ஃபேன்ஸ் என்ன ரொம்ப பாராட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்க. they love me-னு கேட்டிருக்கேன், அப்படியே இருக்கலாமே. why does it have to be anything else? But I must say, working with Ajit sir and doing, you know, all of these, whether it was whatever action or, you know, even if it's just the scenes also, always he keeps the fact that I'm a woman in mind. Like the fact that I'm a woman itself, for him, you can tell that that's how he operates, you know. He is especially he's very caring as a person. And when he knows there are women around, he's even more caring because he wants everyone to feel even more comfortable. Because ungalke theriyum settle, you know, what the number of things that could go on, that number of things that could go wrong for women. He's pretty aware of those things. So whether it was action or whether it was, you know, scenes or whatever it is, I thoroughly enjoyed doing it because of the person that he is. And again, you know, he's like, இங்கே என்ன வேணாலும் பண்ணுமா, டோன்ட் வரி. இஃப் ஐ சே சார் நான் கை இப்படி போட போகிறேன் சார், யூ டூ வை யூ டெல்லிங் மீ ஆல் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ், நீங்கள் பண்ணுங்கள், இட்ஸ் ஓகே, யூனோ. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் தட் வே I enjoy doing it, and it will show on screen as well. So being Ajit sir's fans, I'm sure they'll all also think like Ajit sir, la?
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Love all women and be, you know, respect women.
Now, could you also elaborate about your co-stars in the film?
Trisha and I are friends from before.
Oh.
Yeah, as in, you know, on and off here and there. We meet like at parties and all of that. So she's a fun person to work with. She's got this fun energy around her, and it's not very often I get to work with a female co-star, and she's very, you know, like we talk about varied things under the sun, and of course she's really beautiful, so pretty. I just love how she, you know, carries herself, and there was this, I'm a little, not naughty, but I'm a little naughty on set in the sense, like when you see me itself, I'm like, she must be up to something, but I won't be up to anything, I promise. And I still remember, I told Trisha something on set, I don't remember what it was, okay, I told her something fun, I told her, I think, something about coffee or something we were talking about. Oh yeah, I think I told her coffee is coming, I was ordering coffee from someone, I was like, do you want coffee, this place is really good, blah blah blah. She said, yeah, I think I told her the coffee is coming, and she jumped like this. And she said, yeah! And Bhagat was standing next to her like this, and he looked at her and he looked at me and he's like, she's the most graceful actress I know. How are you making her do this? I'm like, I didn't do anything. Not me. You know? So that was like, these are these small things that happen on set that you keep, you cherish. I probably wouldn't have, you know, spoken to anyone about this before, but since it's y'all, so yeah, and then coming to Arjun sir, man, I don't know how that man really does it. Like அந்த வயசுக்கு and அவங்க பண்ற ஆக்ஷன் படத்துக்கு like you should see him, he has no wrinkles, you can't tell his age. Like I mean irkalam, but not for his age. His diet is so good. How is that consistency, you know? And first time நான் அவங்கள real lifeல fight பண்ண பார்க்குறேன், like whatever he was doing some action stuff, and I'm seeing it for the first time in my life in person, and he's so good. See, like when you see it on screen, it's good, but it's different when you see it in person la. In fact அங்க சில Georgian fighters இருந்தாங்க, and much younger than him, like half his age. They don't know anything about him, right? So even watching that was very interesting, like these guys reacting to him, like they went and asked him how old you are, and then he told them his age, and they just couldn't take it. They were like, no way, you know. And I find that as you know, or actor or a perspective la irundha, that's so much avanga complacent ஆகல அவங்க. They're not like, oh நான் இவ்வளோ பண்ணியிருக்கேன், இவ்வளோ சம்பாதிச்சிருக்கேன், you know, I don't really need to push the boundaries, I don't really need to push myself to do things, but they still do it. And even with Ajit sir, the same thing, you know, like seeing him being so committed and pushing his boundaries, and he always says, if not now, then when. So yeah, and then coming to Arav, again I'm meeting him for the first time on this set, and I always thought he'd be a very reserved person, but again in Baku everyone was just so fun. I think Baku really brought out the fun side in everybody. Arav, Nikhil as well. It's the first time I'm working with both of them, and such fun energy, you know, and just watching Ajit sir pull their legs, like irritate them, not even irritate them, they would obviously never get irritated with him, but trouble them, and you know, like make these snide little remarks and stuff like that. It was very very very, really, I'm telling you, I can't even, like, நான் எவ்வளோ சொன்னாலும், like it's just not enough to, you know, the fun that we had over there.
ஸோ இப்போ நீங்கள் பதில் சொல்லும்போது பாக்கு நிறைய வாட்டி சொன்னீங்க. ஸோ அண்ட் நாங்கள் ட்ரெய்லர் பார்க்கும்போதும் தெரிஞ்சது that terrain also plays a character or a role. It gives the feel. How was it? என்ன எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணீங்க in that place?
Yes, அந்த லேண்ட்ஸ்கேப்பு ஒரு கேரக்டர்னு சொல்லலாம், பிகாஸ் நீங்கள் ட்ரீலர் பார்த்தாலும் like it opens with that, and I think that's so important because it gives you a sense of how gritty this film is, how gritty that those portions are, and it's a vibe. But the Baku that y'all saw was like Gobistan. It's a mud volcano place in there. To the Baku that we would pack up and go back to, a very different.
That's a different place. Yeah.
The landscape definitely adds to it, and I feel like it's that terrain, that landscape that brings out the film, the kind of film that we want to show. Yeah.
Just want to ask you, we all know that you're a motorcycle enthusiast. You drive bikes and all. You ride bikes. So, did you follow this sir's endurance racing, and did you what was your reaction when you know that his team?
What was your immediate reaction? Win பண்ணது பார்த்து.
I knew about it from before.
Okay.
அவங்க பேசிட்டு இருந்தாங்க அப்போ, like, you know, here and there, and I mean, when we were all working together, right? So he's very open that way. He'll talk about a lot of things. And when he formed his team, I obviously wished him, and I mean, it was pretty much you get information and all of that, right? Like what's happening, and once people know you're doing an AK Sir film, whatever he does, they'll tag you in social media. Okay, inge irundhalum okay, you know, you pretty much up to date with it. But also Sir was sweet enough. He sends his, you know, lap timing, and you know what he's doing and how much he's pushing the limit, and yeah, so not just that, but even with his bike riding thing, you know, with Venus Motorcycles, it's all very exciting. And of course now on race live paatha on YouTube, the YouTube live that they were airing, and through the day, except for the maybe like the 6-7 hours when I was sleeping, but I woke up and it was on, like I don't even think I'd gotten off of the live. And it was so funny. I was telling all my friends, in fact, you know, and the live பார்க்கும்போது comments வரும்ல, it was non-stop AK கடவுளே அஜித் AK கடவுளே அஜித் you know, and I was like, guys, this is an international thing, like it's an international race, போட்டு AK சொல்லிட்டே இருக்கீங்க. Like other people were getting so irritated. Who is this AK? Why AK? What is this கேட்டுட்டே இருந்தாங்க. But it was so funny to see, because I mean, as an observer, it's interesting, it's funny, it's all in all together to, you know, like it also shows you how much people love this
him.
man. And
Unconditionally.
yes. Although he keeps saying, you know, like, please don't do these things, அதெல்லாம் பண்ணாதீங்க, நீங்க உங்க வாழ்க்கை போயிட்டு வாழுங்க, like, you know, live your life, all of that, but still people are relentless, and still people want, you know, are so ardent, and it's so lovely to see. It's honestly very touching, and you know, so there's always a little prayer that I send out to him, and every time I message him and I, you know, tell him that, you know, or congratulate him or anything, he will reply.
பேசுனீங்களா இந்த ரேஸ் as in sir Ajit sir win பண்ணோடே?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk to him?
I did.
What happened? What was the conversation? If you can share.
Of course, I sent him a message. In fact, after that, he had replied. I sent him a message saying, you know, like, I saw the whole thing, and it's incredible how you guys like really pulled through. There was a time where I felt like, okay, you know, at least I don't know, are they going to like podium reach avangla illaya, you know, like there was this whole thing happening, and whoever was there, in fact, I was trying to like call and find out, okay, what's happening, when is he going on, I want to know before he goes on, so that I can go watch Appo. And he's got I told him, sir, you got a very cute racing team.
Oh yes.
The team does look very cute. So all of these things I've told him, and he laughs, but it's always very like, you know, grateful and thankful, and he always says, please keep me in your prayers. And he always says, you know, I'm so blessed that I've been through so much in terms of putting my body through so much. It's unbelievable that I'm alive. அவங்களே சொல்லுவாங்க அது. Yeah, so it's a miracle that I'm alive. And I think he's there for everyone to enjoy this person, to celebrate this person.
Regina, women-centric pictures or movies, the people say it doesn't work most of the time and all that. But what is your take on it? Women-centric movies, what is unga karuthanalla? You want to do such films?
I don't know how it'll sound when I say this, but solliye avno, because I'd get it off my chest. I don't understand this phrase of woman-centric, and I feel like that brings a divide when there's no need for a division in terms of films. Yeah, okay, there are male leads and female leads, and most of the films growing up we've seen it be male protagonists, or even when you see films in general, it's based on whether it's the film or the story, or whether it's the business, is based around a male actor. And I totally understand it. Not that I'm saying it shouldn't be that way or should be that way, none of those things. But just the fact that when a movie is led by a female, it becomes a female-centric film, is something that I feel like shouldn't really be there, because then it's a film at the end of the day. You could have a male lead and you could have a female lead. It's still a film at the end of the day. Your protagonists could be whoever.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
We get it.
So the whole graph for an actress is so different in comparison to an actor. Like, an actor takes time to do films to finally get to a certain market value. That's probably their graph, because that's how producers give them films, or, you know, based on their market value. But for an actress, it's not that. But I'm sure if actresses also started off mounting scripts only on them, which is what Bollywood does. And you know, like, there's so many actresses that who now, like the whole new crop of actresses, whether it's a Janvi Kapoor or Ananya Pandey or whoever, they are looking for movies that that they can, lead. And I hope that happens in the South as well, because it's cinema at the end of the day. There's no dividing in cinema.
Well said, you know. Very well said.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So we'll talk about Magal Thiruveni. Nangala trailer paathom. It was very different aesthetically speaking, you know. How was your experience working with him, and trailer paathite how was your reaction to it?
So I told you, right, Magal sir, we already spoke to work with each other before, and it didn't happen. I really liked the school he comes from, the kind of films he makes, the way he makes his films, and all of that, and his voice. I knew that I wanted to work with him. Like, you get a certain vibe or energy from certain directors or actors or people that you feel like, yeah, you'd like to work with them, and he was one of those people. And he's such a patient director. It could be taken in, it be taken in different ways when you're working in cinema and stuff like that. A production house might not have the same thing, saying he's a very patient director, but for an actor it's so important, right? Because it's so important to for me to get into character, and for my director, and I'm a director's actor. Like, I like to be told what to do, and then I will build on it. Right. Not just with shooting, but even while dubbing, he was so patient with me, and I'm just so happy that he sat with me and this thing. There was one bit in the middle where I might not have dubbed for myself, and for me that would have just been shattering, because I wanted to give my 100% for this film, and I very rarely dub in Tamil. So when he expressed the fact that, yeah, you know what, Regina, he also wanted me to dub. So he was like, Sari, we'll work on this together, and it came out so well. So நான் டீசர் ரிலீஸ் ஆனதுக்கு முன்னாடியே நான் போயிட்டு டப் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணேன். ஸோ டீசருக்காகவே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டப் பண்ணேன். That's that laugh. Yeah. And I loved it. I loved the teaser itself, and then I loved the trailer. Like, it's so exciting to watch. For someone who's been in the film and done everything, it still felt like, okay, we've done something, and to know that the film has gone through so much, like when it was supposed to release, and all of these things that it had to go through, it was literally like slug through the mud sort of a thing, but it's coming out now, and yeah.
Well, actually, if you see it, it's getting bigger and bigger, with every stage. Name launch, the teaser became bigger, then the first single again gotten bigger, then the trailer, இப்போ வந்து the song, actually goosebumps on the song. ஒரு சொட்டு ரத்தம் மிச்சம் இருந்தாலும் talks about விடாமுயற்சி. So பயங்கர மோட்டிவேட்டிங்கான ஒரு சாங். இன்ஃபேக்ட்
மேபி எல்லாருக்கும் ஜிம் சாங் ஆயிடும்.
ட்ரூ வெரி ட்ரூ. பயங்கரமான
ஐ ஆஃப் த டைகர் மாதிரி.
இந்த லைன்ஸ் கேட்கும்போது, ஓகே, if this is a situation for you, then what was that, or have you
faced that in my life?
Yeah.
I think என்னோட கரியரே அப்படிதான். ஏன்னா when I started as a 14-year-old girl, அப்போது நான் நினைக்கவே இல்லை நான் இப்படி பண்ண போகிறேன், I'm going to do all of these things. And then when I had the opportunity to do it, நான் அந்த opportunity எடுத்தேன்னு சொன்னேன்ல, but I didn't know what I was getting into. இது எவ்வளோ பெரிய உலகம், இதுக்குள்ளே என்ன நடக்குது எதுவுமே தெரியல. It was literally like a noob, nascent, like a child மாதிரி வந்தேன். ஒரு பாயிண்டில் 2015 end of 2015, 2016, early 2016, I thought Vanda, because I didn't think I was born or cut out for this at that time. Suddenly, after so many years of acting and working, I didn't think that I was cut out for cinema. Because எல்லாரும் காம்படிஷன் பற்றி பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, ரேட் ரேஸ் பற்றி பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. நீங்கள் ஏன் மற்ற ஹீரோயின்ஸ் மாதிரி உங்கள் கண்டெம்ப்ரரிஸ் மாதிரி நீங்கள் ஏன் அவ்வளோ அக்ரெசிவாக எதுவுமே பண்ணுறதில்ல? அவங்க பாருங்கள், அவங்க எந்த படம் பண்ணுறாங்க, உங்களுக்கு அப்புறமா வந்த ஆக்ட்ரஸஸ் உங்களை விட இந்த படம் பண்ணுறாங்க, ஏலிஸ்டர் படம் பண்ணுறாங்க, நீங்கள் ஏன் பண்ணுறதில்ல? None of these things bothered me at all in life. இன்றைக்கும் it doesn't bother me. But அது சொல்லி அது கேட்டு for about 3 years I probably heard it. And maybe somewhere it broke me as a person. அந்த டைமில் I was going through something in my personal life as well, and I was not clinically diagnosed with depression, but I had a hormonal imbalance, and adanalada I could see myself going into a loop,
like a downward spiral.
Yes, absolutely downward spiral. I won't go into details சொல்ல மாட்டேன், என்ன நடந்தது எல்லாமே. I mean, I don't mind talking about it. It's not that I don't want to talk about it, but it doesn't matter unless anyone asks me. On the time I decided, let's cut it. I mean, like, the kind of person that I am in generally in life, ஏதாவது தப்பு நடக்குதுன்னா and it's putting me in a bad space, I will cut away from it.
Right.
I will distance myself from the situation or people, yaar irundhalum, edu irundhalum. So I had taken this decision saying that podum, venda, I don't want to put myself through this anymore. அந்த டைமில் நெஞ்சம் மறுப்புதலை, செல்வராகவன் sir's film had so happened to come to me, and I went and met the man, and I was very, like, this was not who I was. I was not even 50% of myself in terms of energy. So went, met him, came back, and then he really liked me and all of that, and it so happened that Nenjam Marpudai happened. Through that film, I was trying to recover, but I knew it would be my last film. I was okay with it being my last film. And okay, and the problem when I hear a nice script or a nice character is I want to do it. And then at that moment I realized, okay, however down I'm feeling, or however negative I'm feeling about myself or life, when I hear a good script and a nice character and a nice role, I still want to do it. So that was always, and the fact that people had this thing of, no, you have to do it, we want you to do it, that confidence or that that earnestness to work with me definitely was a reason why I didn't leave cinema at the end of the day. So I think not just my perseverance, but the people around me as well plays a huge role in my life. And I think up until today, the person that I am is because and perseverance does not have to mean force, or does not have to mean like you have to have like this hunger, and you have to be an angry young person, or it just means you continue doing what you're doing because
sustain efforts.
You just do it. You don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Right? And that was my biggest learning from that. And the moment I came out of it, it felt like a victory. I still battle good days and bad days, like most people most millennials at least. Therapy was something that I resorted to. Just being able to talk to someone who has an understanding of the whole thing, and also having studied psychology, I could understand what was going on with me to a certain extent. Not that I could heal myself or do anything, But the fact that I knew that I was going through something because of these things, and then I could sit and, like sort it out, really did help. So, அதான் என் விடாமுயற்சி.
That's wonderful, because being verbal about it is not many people do, and they think it's a taboo kind of a thing. Oh, இது சொல்ல முடியாது, இது பேசக்கூடாது, இது போய் இதுக்கு நம்ம போய் ஹெல்ப் எடுக்க முடியாது, அந்த மாதிரி இல்லாமல் I think a person like you, being verbal about it is going to help a lot of other individuals at any age who requires இந்த ஒரு சப்போர்ட் வந்து கேட்கலாம், தப்பு கிடையாது, they can seek somebody அப்படின்றது வந்து I think that's a wonderful thing that you just said it.
Thank you. Also, but the problem with that Senthil is I don't have a problem with voicing it out. I can talk about anything under the sun because I know that it comes from a genuine place. It doesn't come from a place of wanting to put anyone down or wanting to, create sympathy or be a victim or any of those things. But it comes from a place, and I don't talk about my issues unless I really need to talk about it, or unless I've healed from it and then I've come out. To talk about it from without any emotion is what I would like to do. And also the thing with having to talk about these things, especially being in the limelight, being out there, sometimes it could come to bite you in the back. So I do have to think about what I talk about. It's important, but at the end of the day, I do want to share because it's not easy to talk about it. And I mean, like, even now to think how people are going to perceive me as a person post this is also something that I need to think about. Right. I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I understand that. But still, at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I know that people are going to perceive me differently post something I say. Yeah.
So to sum it up, Regina, what is the takeaway for the audience? Vidamuyarchi என்ன சொல்ல போறீங்க? What is it you want to tell to the audience?
Vidamuyarchila, like, I mean, it's a action thriller, of course, but படத்துல அது தவிர there's a lot more that I feel like today's present audience, you could be Gen Z, you could be a millennial, you could be Gen Alpha, இன்னும் பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க படம். But you could be boomer, you could be anybody. But I think எல்லாரும் போங்க ஃபேமிலியா படம் பாருங்க. I think this is one for everybody.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching on the big screen.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. எங்களை ரசிச்சிங்களோ இல்லையோ, ரெஜினாவை பார்த்து ரசிச்சிருப்பீங்க. நல்லா பயங்கர ஃபேக்சுவல் டேட்டா நிறைய கொடுத்தாங்க, ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான நிறைய விஷயம் பேசினாங்க, நிறைய இமோஷனலான விஷயமும் சொன்னாங்க. ஐ திங்க் அது எல்லாத்துக்கும் பிரயோஜனமாக இருக்கும் நாங்கள் நம்புகிறோம். விடாமுயற்சி February 6th வருது. ஸோ நம்ம எல்லாரும் போய் பார்த்து we'll enjoy the movie. And thank you so much for spending time and watching us. So keep watching us, like us and subscribe us. Thank you so much.